let's bring in Kevin Hincks, Jenny Horne, host of Next Gen and Fast Market. You guys had a great conversation about the chips and Next Gen, Jenny. What'd you learn?
The unraveling of supermicro computer has been astounding today. I mean, just today, because the stock is up still 800%, I mean, over the last 12 months. And there obviously are 2,000 stocks in the Russell 2000, but there's only been one that's mattered this year, and it's supermicro computer. And we were talking about how we're surprised we're actually not seeing things lower. I mean, given the fact the stock is completely sold off on the session. But I will say that, mind you, when this name was at its peak, it was contributing to about about 2% of the Russell 2000 index. Then that's pretty substantial. I mean, like we're seeing right now, the fact that given its gain, it's the biggest component of the Russell 2000 index. It has a market value of $50 billion, 5 times the size of its next competitor being ALF. And I mean, like right now, the average component in the market has about a value of $1.5 billion. Just to put into context.
It's about to rally its way out of the Russell 2000.
Right. And it's led to like all of the outperformance we've seen in the Russell 2000, and even it's the largest component now of the S&P Mid-Cap 400 index, and it contributes about 2.5% to that gain.
Wow. The thing with these moves, when they go vertical like this, and it's not even like exponential parabolic, it's like literally vertical. This isn't like the COVID days because the number of companies doing this are much more limited, Kevin, but the verticality of their charts is incredible. And then even though it's up still hundreds of percents, I mean, people are like breaking their bank because they're using these zero-day options and stuff, and they're just getting wrecked today.
Things that come fast usually leave just as fast, Oliver. So you've got to be careful on volatility unless they have a legit case for that stock to go higher, a game-changing event. Listen, I think right now, the fact that based on the data we got today, that this market opened lower and was able to rally and be up a significant portion of the day tells you that Nvidia and everything in AI leading into next week is paralyzing this market on the downside and allowing it to just ignore data, because the Nvidia story has now taken over this market and literally sucked up all the oxygen.
Yeah.
There's going to be a reckoning because the data is coming in. Oliver, we've got it, like we said this morning, we've got a 2-year at 4.6.
Yeah, it's moving.
That is not a level in the 2-year yield conducive to any lower inflation story.
Sure. No, I get that. There's also a lot of confidence, though, that the market really believes this is going to be a blip, that this is a exception to the rule of the disinflation stuff.
How many data points in a row, though?
I know, I get that. Hey, believe me, I know. I thought the Goolsby stuff was crazy this week. At least we heard a little bit.
Raphael Bostic, I thought, was sobering.
That was a little bit more kind of in line with what we might expect. But you're right. I mean, the whole macro narrative basically is being usurped by the AI stuff.
I agree.
However, that's almost so big that it's becoming its own macro narrative, that it's going to be like adding points to GDP. So it's this trade-off where it's like, all right, we want to root for growth, we want to root for technological innovation. Is that also going to keep the economy there? I mean, Sam Altman's like continuing to ask for trillions of investment.
He is. So that's also interesting, where he's been meeting with these investors and partners in the U.S. as well as Middle East and Asia, and he's been trying to get U.S. officials on board with a plan to turbocharge semiconductor production, partially in part from the financing from the Middle East. And he aims to really make this capacity and sort of these cutting-edge chips by also sort of saving off the shortfall concerns that could interfere with the wide-scale deployment of AI and the continued deployment of the field. This is per reports we got from Bloomberg. So he's definitely right now trying to seek this massive venture to boost the global manufacturing of AI chips. Again, though, I agree with you, right? I think right now, and I agree with Kevin, where it's like we're right now trading on so much potential. It's like the potential market value of AI and the potential. And I know that's typically how these like massive swings and changes in technology go. But at one point, like, does the potential then start to become the reality? Because with the supermicro computer name, I mean, there's just so much volatility in it. It makes me nervous as we get into Nvidia's earnings. And to your point, hey, Nvidia has been like the poster child of resiliency because we're closing out our 6th week of the year. They've closed up 5 of those 6 weeks, which has not been, I mean, I know the markets have also been on a pretty nice record, but like Nvidia has been just continuing even today to rip higher.
Yeah, it doesn't break even when the market slips. As far as like the products go, some of the stuff that I was referencing earlier, the 3D generation and the worlds they're able to create with these images using the OpenAI stuff. I mean, it really is extraordinary. I think that's why Adobe's down. I mean, even Alphabet too. It takes a lot to crack stocks like that. I mean, the same time though, I saw the NBA commissioner on stage debuting like a video game version of how to watch the game. It's like, all right, that's stupid.
Whoa,
It's
whoa,
so
whoa.
pointless.
I don't
It's like,
know.
why would I want to watch the game with like weird graphics? Like,
One last thing. In terms of competition on search,
Yeah.
this is not the first time someone's tried to
Right,
compete
we've
with
heard this.
Google Alphabet.
Sure.
And everyone thinks they've got the next, and it rarely shows up.
yeah, fair enough. Some of the software stuff too this week, I feel like we've got the core hardware that is showing the demand. We've already seen all the earnings because businesses are just building up these chip inventories now. But the software stuff, a lot of those companies got slammed this week because a lot of them show they still don't make money. I'm thinking like, we're going to talk about some of them. A lot of the, Roku's and stuff like that. Twilio got hit, Fastly, like
Shopify.
Arista
Yeah.
Networks.
it's like this idea that it extends further into other sectors. Okay, that's where maybe we got a little carried away so far.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, like Applied Materials we looked at earlier, they're still holding on to a
Exactly.
7% rally.
Core hardware trade.
Right.
That's where it is. All right, which was a big move today. Up 7%.
8% this week, too, so pretty nice move for them.
All right. Good convo. AI still the story right now, even despite an attempt from the bond market to get our attention this week.